Yeah, my email, name, student ID, course. I understand that I must produce a YouTube video. Yes, I have read the instructions on how to produce a demo. Yes, I understand that if my video is over 15 minutes long, I will need to verify my account. Yes, I understand that I must upload my complete project zipped up to my Beckett before the deadline. Yes, I understand that if my video is not of sufficient quality to be marked, no audio, no script, I don't show and explain my code etc. Then I will be asked to record it again or demo in person. Yes, demonstrating a separate demo for extra marks. No. Version control is my GitHub. Number of commits 33. Program commands. There's no loop. Sort of loop, no. Variables, yes. Okay, control copy. Part 1. So I'm going to run that to the. Yeah, it ran, but it's very small. The size is very small. Make that 100. Yeah. Basically, for variables, the way it works in my code, no. Command pattern. I've just created a dictionary here for variables, and then before you run the command, it just checks if it's a variable assignment, and it does that by when it calls this variable assignment method, undo variable assignment method, that checks for parts, and then in my variable assignment is right here, string variable equals to part 0. That's the first thing there. Say size, like in the example, size is going to be a string, the variable. Then you have an int value, which is going to be the second part. Part one would be the first part would be the assignment operator equal to sign. And then let's say the second part is going to be an integer for value, and that's how it's done. So it gets the value, a user enters into the program and stores it as the value, and then uses it basically for every. So let's say we want to draw a circle here. This if the user enters a circle 50 directly, then this will work. Otherwise, if it's a variable, it will get the value and then use that value into to substitute for the radius here. It has to be an integer. So that's yes. And then my variable unit test. That's part 2, test for defining variables. So I have an instance of a form, another instance of my command parser class. Then it just takes this, we just create this string here, variable name is equal to 42. Then we call our handle variable assignment on this string that we've created here, and we just check if it's true that the variable name is equal to 42, and that is equal to variable name, and then we check if 42 is equal to this variable name with the handle variable as assignment. So I'm just gonna run test, and then if I come to variable test, this is it here, and it's successful. So that's yes. So expressions such as size is equals to contents, then this would be for loops. I don't have a loop, no. Unit test, no. Your loop works with a variable. Don't have loops, no, no. If statement work for one line. Show an example. If statement, just ifs with code blocks, multiple lines, and oh, okay. Um, I think I saved some here. Single if statement. So r equals 20, count 1. So if count is less than 10, which it is, it's going to draw a circle of radius 20 and then run that here. So that's successful. Let me clear that. Let me open another one for if. This one is multiple, and then has an end if command. So when you run it, it works. My if statement. So I just check if there's a command type if here, and if the command if a string or if a line starts with if, so you know that that's a command, and then it takes 4 parts: if, and then takes a variable, and that will be an operand. Then it takes an operator, and then it takes another operand variable, int operand 1 and operand 2. That's if the user decides to enter it directly. Otherwise, you could take from the variables using the and variable command assignment method, and then it passes it into the operands here, and then here we just check if they are equal. If it's in a we're switching the parts now, switching the parts of the if statement. So the second part 2 here, that will be the operator, and it will check if it, in this case here, if it is less than sign, it's going to check if it's less, if operand 1 is less than operand 2, and then to go on to execute the code here. Execute line flag will work, otherwise it will not work, and then it will tell the user that they have the the condition has not been met, and then it's going to skip the lines, the following lines. Let's just do one here. For example, if we use a count is equals to 11 or 111. So count here is not less than 10. If we try to run that, it's going to say that the condition is not met. So yeah, that's how it works basically. If statements, yes, and then with code blocks, yes. Unit test for if command. Unit test for if command. Part 2 test. We have test for if statement. So I have a very simple test here. Initialize a form command parser, then just create a string, and then all my test is simply doing is just checking if this is a valid string that would be checked, and if it's an if command. So that's what it's doing here. That's what it's simply doing here. So I'm going to run test, and it's successful. The if statement runs right here. So that's unit test for if statement, yes. Syntax checking. The whole program can be syntax checked before running. Yes. Okay, so let me check. think I have done that. So I'm just going to open, say this one. I'm going to open this. I'm just going to make some errors so we can check if the syntax check is correct. So if we click on syntax now, rectangle is not a command type, so that's a problem and it tells us what to do, where it is. So we go and fix that. Then we check the syntax again. Then there's a problem again here on this line circled. So we fix that. The triangles should give us another error. There is no command as such. So when we fix that, check all the commands are valid and there is no problem and the code was not executed unless we click on run, then it then runs. So syntax checking, yes, yes. Unit tests for syntax checking. A unit test. Okay, for syntax checking, is a record. Okay, didn't explain how my code actually works. So let me quickly explain how my code works for syntax checking. That'll be button 4. Yeah, so button 4 is my syntax box. So sorry, it's my syntax button. So when it is clicked, it takes the text in my rich text box, then it checks the command. Sorry, he sets it as a string here. That's for commands to check. Then he runs the commands to check command errors method on this string here, and this is how this command check command error method works. Basically, it creates from the command parser, it creates a dummy form, and then it just checks, uses the undo command here because my undo command already has exceptions when the command is not met here. These are some exceptions you will meet. So just using all of that, the undo command, it just checks if it's going to be correct. If it's correct, then it's correct. Otherwise, it just throws the error that's supposed to be thrown from my undo command here. For example, let's say the user enters the wrong color here. If the color is wrong, it's going to tell the person that it's an invalid parameter. It has to be that on or off because fill means like there's going to be color black or red or whatever color. And then if the user, so that's exactly what's going to tell the user if they enter a wrong command with the check command errors. So for my unit test for syntax checking, basically we have two here. So the undo command, stands for valid commands, creates an instance of command parser class, and then dummy form. Then we just set this string valid commands. These are valid commands. Move to 10 coordinates, or draw to these coordinates. They are both valid commands. And we just separate them. New line. Then we call the undo command on it, and then it checks if they are valid commands for move to or whatever is there, and then if it's true, then the execute line flag will work because the execute line flag is only set to true when the command is true. And we have something that's not going to work here. This is for invalid command exception. Moving is not a command, it's move to. So this is a problem, and it's going to check, and then it's going to use the undo command, and it's going to throw an exception because we've already said that. So yeah, I'm going to run the syntax check test. We'll run test. So it has thrown an error. Moving 50, 70 is not a valid command. So if I go to undo command, sorry, syntax test, right here, invalid and valid commands, they both run. So unit test, yes, I guess. Syntax checking. Methods, I don't have methods. Couldn't figure it out. No methods. Provides two independent program. Okay, that's trading. No, no. Okay, there's an implementation standard. So my code doesn't really use factory design patterns. Objects are created with the factory which is correctly implemented. Show in your code your factory class interface and where objects are created by the factory. Okay, so my code doesn't use the factory pattern, factory class design pattern, but I've used other patterns. Let me see. So there's no here additional design patterns. Okay, so for example, in my form class, I've used the observer pattern. See the picture box one, and I run my picture box or my text box key down. Where's picture box here? Yeah, for example, here I'm using observer pattern here for text box key down, and they're handled by they're attaching events. They're waiting for events to happen so they can then display or work accordingly. So using the observer pattern. Then I use a command parser class, so that's like a command pattern. So it just like uses encapsulation for requesting and to allow objects to work with my command parser class. Yeah. Yep. So this is command pattern here and observer pattern. Trojan patterns use. I don't use factory design pattern, so there's no testing for that. Additional functionality. How many additional facilities have you done? Just one. And it says to draw additional shapes defined by the user. So I just added a draw shape command to draw any amount of shapes. Sorry, any amount, a shape with different number of sides. Let me open, I think I saved it, complex shapes. So here we're moving to 200 to 100 coordinates. X is 50, Y is 100, and then we're drawing shape X. So when it's just one parameter, it knows to draw a circle. When it's two, it draws a rectangle. When it's three, it draws a triangle. And then if you specify more than 3 or 4, 5, 6, any amount, it will draw that number of site. So I'll click on run. We have a circle here, we have a rectangle, we have a triangle, and then we have an that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's heptagon. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, an heptagon with the number of sides basically. Command. There's no AI. If you have used AI and it's usually produced from the code, okay. Yeah, I used AI for draw shapes basically. So here's my draw shapes. Um, yeah, draw shape. So takes when it's one parameter here, it draws a circle. 2 parameters, it draws a rectangle. 3 draws a triangle, and then when it's 4 parameters, or sorry, 3 or more parameters, more than 3 parameters, it does the draw polygon method, which is defined in my form 1 class. Draw polygon will be here. Yeah, so I used the AI basically and Google to find how to draw shapes with more sides to it. So the parameter length is more than 3. Then performs this mathematical operation on the shapes, and then draws the required number of sides for a shape basically. So the answer will be yes. Any comments? But anything you want me to know that hasn't been covered above? Yes, I missed points because I wasn't able to upload my unit tests in part 1. So I have been able to upload my unit tests. So ensure you submit this form. You can upload your video to YouTube. Remembering that if it's over 15 minutes, okay, yeah, this will. So have I done everything here? I guess submit. I think that's it. Oh.